Hello there and happy Friday. We are here at the Lever again. Dustin Dane had to step out, so we have a guest speaker here with us, Mr. Linden, and hopefully you're going to really enjoy this. I've been sitting there talking to him for the last hour or so and
Right.
absolutely really enjoyed that. So, again, Dustin Payne here with the Lever. And Linden, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself. So what do you do? And again, you and I talked, I say briefly, at length about what you do. And
Yeah.
And man, I guess share with everybody here what you do.
Well, now what I do is I do a lot of mentorship, educational programs, teaching for small business owners. I focus a lot on realtors. That's kind of been my niche for the past 20 years. I was in mortgage and credit repair. And so I've got
20 years dealing with real estate industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey.
I love them.
There you go.
I love them.
You got to love them. You got to hate them, right?
I got that, but they challenge me every day.
Absolutely.
So, and that, I guess that's probably why I keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because when I get something's easy, I get bored.
Yeah.
I want to move on. This has not been easy, but it's worth it.
Yep.
Isn't that what they say? I didn't say it'd be easy. I just said it'd be worth
It'd
it.
be worth it at the end.
So, yeah, we do classes for realtors. We do teach entrepreneurial skills, which is highly lacking in a lot of small businesses. And because and we're going to talk about that today.
Yep.
About how
But not just in real estate, but in
everything.
Yeah.
But the reason I feel like that we all struggle as small business owners is because we're kind of in our own little bubble. And if we're not being mentored or taught, or we've got some examples, we don't know how to change. We don't know where to go for change.
Mhm.
And if you don't have change, you're not going to have growth.
Right.
So that's one of the things that the ADAPT program is about. ADAPT stands for Alliance Development and Productivity Training.
Okay.
So we combine all of that.
Yep.
I'm a big proponent in alliances, partnerships.
Big time.
And then productivity as far as, how are you implementing everything you're learning every day
Yeah.
and your schedules and things like that. We talked a little bit about that
Yeah.
today. But
Yeah, how do you learn? How do you adjust? And again, really awareness, right? Having
Yeah.
the awareness. And I think that you had mentioned just a minute ago, right? When small business owners, this is not just real estate, but it's small business owners as a whole. We get in our own world, we get in our own bubble, and we're in the trenches grinding all the time. And it takes somebody that is not in the same trench with us to show us our blind spots.
right.
And then go, hey, now that we're aware, we can make a decision. But if you're not aware, if you don't have, last week we talked about process. If you're not aware of whatever processes you need to change, or hey, what's my blind spot? Where can I make a change and improve? Then you can't make any changes,
Right.
right? So whether that be time management, right? We're going to talk
Time
about
management,
that.
yeah,
Whether
absolutely.
It's so talk to me about, we were talking a little bit earlier about having that mentor, right? And
Okay.
having somebody that can help you get to where you want to be because they've already been there.
Right.
And so when you come in and you're having struggles in business and you're having struggles in family life or whatever it may be, having somebody that's been there before. We just finished a study with my men's group that when you're 30 to 40 years old, go find somebody that's 50 to 60 because they've been there.
Right.
When you're 50 to 60, have somebody that's 80 or 90 because they can look back and go, hey, I remember when, right? I remember when this happened, and you're going to get through it. And this is how it feels, and I know because I've been there. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, first, it's funny you say that because I look back now at my age, not an old guy, but I'm not a young one anymore either.
Wisdom, right? Crown of wisdom is what the Bible
you know
tells us
what?
gray hair is.
Here's the thing. Here's where my wisdom's coming from now. Is all those stories and all those things my grandfather told me and my dad told me when I was too young and stubborn to listen. Now I'm that age, and I'm like, dang, they were right. God, where would I be?
I remember, I don't know if my dad's listening right now, but I remember in college, I think I was a freshman, and I shot him a text and said, Dad, you're right. I just want to let you know you're smart. And he called me, and he's like, you okay? You sick? you need something? Yeah, what's the deal? So anyway.
Yeah, and so, you do need that there's wisdom with age.
Sure.
And it's not because they made all the right decisions, because a lot of times it's because they made a lot of bad decisions, and they know what not to do more than they know what.
We're human. We learn from pain.
Right. So when we talk about the mentorship thing, one of the stories I shared with you earlier, and I'll share with these guys, it's kind of my base story, how my life changed. Honestly, my life changed because of this thing that happened to me. A lot of times people are going to be in business and they're going to need a mentor, but maybe we said this, maybe they're invisible.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows who you're not producing yet. Are you worth my time? It's hard to find sometimes good mentors. And that's sad because we all need to be helping.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be serving everybody else and bringing the next group behind us along.
Be a mentor to somebody that hasn't made it to you yet.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
Be mentored by somebody.
That's what good leaders do.
Yeah.
And leadership in our society today, to me, is lacking. Real good leaders. There's some good ones out there. Don't get me wrong, but there's not enough of us.
Sure.
So my story goes like this. I went to college back in 1982. I was a short, small freshman that wanted to play football on a college football team.
Did they have face masks back then?
They did, but the helmets, it's like wearing a bucket.
Uh-huh.
It was terrible. I just remember just the headaches every day that I would get. So I show up over there. I'm this small guy and quite invisible. And 2 weeks into practice, my position coach comes up to me and he said, "Man, you seem like a good guy. You seem like a really cool kid, but you're not a football player." And I was, I knew that, but it sure hurt to hear it.
Sure.
And I still hold him no ill will. He was just being honest.
Yeah.
And really, that statement probably is what kind of put the fire under me.
Absolutely. Well, I'll camp real quick on that. When somebody makes a decision or somebody makes a comment, you can either choose to believe what they say, or you can choose to take that as fuel to your fire, right?
You can get bitter, you can get better.
It's all a choice.
Right.
That's it. So you have to make a choice, and you're either going to go left or you're going to go right. So that's kind of a why in the road. So,
Yeah.
Sorry not to interrupt.
No, but you're right. I mean, so, I asked him, I said, "Are you kicking me off the team?" He goes, "No, you're welcome to stay. We need blocking dummies." But
I need a tackler dummy, baby.
but I'm just telling you where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I can't ever see me playing you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, went home, called my parents, told them, and they go, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I'm not quitting. I'm not ready to quit yet." And so I started, trying to figure out what am I going to do. And so there was this group of guys they were the seniors. They were the studs of the football team. I mean, they just so impressive. So every day they went to the cafeteria. I followed them in the cafeteria. Whatever they put on their plate, I put on my plate. However many times they went back, I went back. As I shared with you before, they had big appetites. They were long gone before I finished.
Yep.
But if they went back for 3 servings, I went back for 3 servings if it took me 2 hours to finish it. I would catch up with them sometimes later, usually at the weight room, and I was over in the corner, whatever they're lifting. I'm not lifting as much, but I'm doing the same exercises.
Doing the same exercises, yeah.
And they kind of noticed me after a while, and they kind of, welcomed me in, and I kept doing the same things, and they kept kind of pushing me at that point. Well, to take that story and move ahead 18 months, that coach got fired, and I was starting.
There you go.
And I started for 3 years.
Yep.
And I use that same strategy now in business as I used back then because it worked for me then.
Yep.
So when I see someone in business that is where I would love to be or that I admire or respect, I watch everything I can. People watching is my number one sport, okay, for entertainment and for education. Both things. I get a lot out of it. So watching people that are where I want to be or accomplishing something I want to accomplish has really served me well.
Yeah.
And that's where I come back to what I said before about leadership in the business community. There's not enough of us because a lot of us don't want to take the time to help someone that we're not really sure of. And are they going to have enough commitment?
Yeah.
Are you going to waste my time? I'm not sure that needs to be things we need to focus on as leaders.
It's not my responsibility.
No. I've got to be there. Now, if you become a time waster, I may have to move on.
Right.
But I think we need, if anybody approaches us to, hey, can you guide me?
Yep.
Then I think we need to, that's an honor.
Yeah.
It really
I think
is.
the biggest thing we're missing is that we're not bringing enough people along with us, right?
We're not.
I want to go and grow, but I want to bring as many people with me as possible.
Absolutely.
Right? And if you choose not to go, then that's fine. But my job, in my opinion, as a leader of an organization or of your family or of whatever it may be, right, is bringing as many people with you as possible. It's lonely at the top, right?
Yeah.
So how many people can you bring with you? And I think we've lost that big time, right? So, and we talked about this, right? Be a mentee of somebody else,
Right.
but be a mentor.
Right.
It's,
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, if you're not helping other people get to where they want to be at, it's really boring, in my opinion.
I think our biggest accomplishment, and when I look back, for me personally, when when the day comes that I've got to hang it all up, I'm going to look less at the business that I had,
Yep.
as far as how my legacy goes and how many people I helped get where they needed to be.
Yep.
That for me.
To me, that's
when
legacy.
I'm laying on that deathbed.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back on my life, and was I successful?
Yep.
That's for me how I define success. I want
Yep.
to be able to look back and go, not how much money did I make, not what I created for me personally,
Right.
but was I able to, is my legacy that of when people look, man, look at all the people he helped.
Right. How many people did you touch?
Right.
That's to me, that's legacy.
Yeah.
It's a legacy. If it stops with you, that's not a legacy. That's a good life. Right.
Yeah.
But the legacy has to continue on. And the only way to make that continue on is people. It's how many people can you empower and grow so that what you've started continues.
It's
passing the baton.
So, you and I have talked a lot about this before. When I talk about relational versus transactional.
Sure.
Right. Transactional is a one shot deal.
Yep.
Relational permeates. It keeps going.
Keeps going.
And I think that our legacy is the same way. Just like what you said, my business is going to be full of many transactions.
Sure.
Over a lifetime.
Sure.
But when you look back, it's just one transaction.
Right.
But if you are a good mentor and a good leader with relations, that's where it grows. That's where you get the traction.
Right. Right.
So,
yeah. Nobody, just what you said, right? Nobody cares about how much money you have at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You don't talk about that
unless
at
you're
a
giving
funeral,
it to them.
right? Unless you're giving it to them. Yeah. I went to a funeral. I don't know. It was like 6 years ago, and it still sticks out in my mind. It's a little small town in East Texas, Van, Texas.
Yeah.
And we pulled in, tons of cars in the parking lot, and walked in, and listening to everybody stand up and talk about this guy, of what he did for the community, how many lives he touched. He will live in infamy, if you will, forever and ever, because of the lives he touched, not because of how much money he had in his bank account or how many deals he did. Right? It was how many people he helped. And I walked out there and went, that's what I want to emulate. Right? That's what I want to. I want that same thing to be said about me when I pass on to the next.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I think I think we lost the mentorship. So talk to me about imitation, right? So we talked about the mentorship and your story and right, trying to go to the weight room. I'm not lifting as much as those guys are, but I'm going to hang around that group, right? So I think we all know the law of we're the sum of the five friends that we're the five closest people in our lives, right? So in business, what do you see a lot of people lack when it's not even, in my opinion, you have to have an imitation to emulate somebody, right? You just go.
Oh, no.
You just do it.
It could be a celebrity.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be someone that never knows you and never meets you.
Sure.
With social media today, there's a million different ways to follow someone.
We were talking about Gary Vee just a minute ago.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
So
he is one of the people that I look up to and respect. Because of the way he articulates his message. That's what I want to learn to do. That's my challenge. That's what I'm challenging myself now. How do you articulate your thoughts in a way that people understand and it impacts them in a positive way? So no, you don't have to know a person. You don't have to be invited in. You just pick the guy out or the girl out that is where you want to be, and you stalk them.
But if it's somebody that you want to be like, in my opinion, if I notice that you're,
wow,
I tend to move around and talk with my hands. Sorry,
that's all
guys.
right. Quick though, we caught him.
Yeah, right. If I'm trying to emulate somebody, they're going to be growth minded as well. And I think you would be hard pressed to find somebody that's growth minded that's not a sharer. And that's it. I refer agents that I work with a lot to another friend of mine, and they're like, "Well, he's an agent. He's this. He's that." He's growth mentality. I want for one, I want you to know the best practices in the business so that my competition's actually doing what they're supposed to do, right?
Right.
So we'll talk about the professionalism of all industries in a minute. But in my opinion, if you are chasing after somebody or you're trying to emulate somebody, they're gonna invite you in at some point, just like those other guys we're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
Because they're your team.
Look, man, it gets your ego.
Yeah.
All right, we're all kind of ego driven. You thought enough of me to imitate me.
That's it.
I like you.
Yeah.
You know, so come on over. Let's buddy up. Let's figure it out.
Absolutely.
But you're right, and I think that when you start looking for that that person to emulate or the mentor. We talked about this too, but I think the number one thing, the foundation that I would suggest to anybody, especially the people that I'm watching, that I'm working with and that I teach, the number one thing that I would do if for business is I would find the one person. If I'm going to emulate anybody, I'm going to start by looking for the person that is exceptional at time management.
Yeah.
You guys talk.
Ooh, that stinks.
We hate it, because it is that mirror in front of us. It is that you have to be honest with yourself.
That's it.
And you can't lie to yourself when you're documenting your time management. So whatever mentor you've got, follow that.
Yep.
Because if they're good at time management, they're going to be dang good at everything else.
That's it. If you can prioritize the highest and best use of your time, if you can prioritize what you should be spending your day on, and you're disciplined enough to do that, then you're absolutely right. You're going to be better at somebody else. A business coach of mine, and I don't know if I told this story on here already, but we had changed our time probably 5 or 6 times because of me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was something stupid as I needed to update my credit card with him or whatever. And I was dropping the ball on getting him over things and blah, blah, blah. And he calls me and we finally connect, right? And he goes, hey, man, did you get the card over us yet? And he goes, you know what? I don't care. I don't give a about your money.
Right.
But what I want to know is where else in your life is this becoming evident? What other balls are you dropping because you're not delegating, you're not time blocking, you're not time management? And I was driving down the road. I know exactly where I was at in the car. And I went, you kind of have my number, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're not good at one thing, it's typically spreads out to a lot of other things. And I think time management is the foundation.
It is.
Right? What are you disciplined about?
Well, we will, there's the old 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
80% of what you're busy doing today is going to have no impact on your revenue or income or growth of your business at all. 20% is. And I think we fool ourselves a lot of times, especially when we're not documenting what we're doing every day.
Yeah.
That, man, I worked my butt off today. Did you really?
Yep.
Just busy does not mean you're productive.
Yep.
Okay.
Busy and productive are not synonymous.
No.
They're not.
And it's, that kind of goes back to the ADAPT. I said that stands for Alliance Development and Productivity Training.
Yep.
The thing that I'm seeing when I'm coaching, when I'm teaching, is that there's a lot of busy people out there, but they're not busy doing things that are really helping them, or they wouldn't be in our classes.
That's it.
So they're trying to figure out what is it that I need to do better. And then their excuse for not doing is, well, I don't have time because I'm so busy already. Busy doing what? And so the time management is the honesty and the clarity of what you're actually doing, because it's really easy for us. Like you said, I've done this. I had a flat tire today, so I'm not gonna be able to make that meeting that's in 3 hours.
Right.
3 hours. I got time to fix a flat and get to that meeting.
Yep.
But I was dirty, so, but I was
whatever
busy.
Excuses that you have to put in there. In
Right.
my opinion, it's an excuse.
And honestly, if we are honest, it's just that's not a priority for us.
It's not a priority.
Yeah.
You have time. You make time for the things that are priority, and it's evident in calendars, right? So we talked about this earlier, and something that I'm going to implement from here on out. And again, it's recognizing and then making the change for it, right? Is going back through the year calendar, the entire year, at the end of the year, planning for the next year.
Right.
Go back through the entire year and take a highlighter or take whatever and make notes on this meeting was productive, this time was productive, this person and relationship even. That's kind of a hard one for us to do sometimes, right?
Yeah.
This relationship is productive or it's not. And so we're going to shift our time frames. We're going to go somewhere else with it. And then recognizing that, okay, I need to delegate. Maybe it's delegation. Maybe you're so busy at important things, but you can hire somebody else to do it. It's not your highest and best use of time.
Right.
And then restructuring your 80-20 and flip those to where 80% of your time. Think about the massive growth and how happier you could be if you spent 80% of your time doing things that you enjoy and that are revenue generating and your highest and best use versus the opposite.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous in my opinion. You could change everything in your organization and in your life by just making that small tweak.
It would be astounding.
Yeah.
It really would.
Sometimes you have to have a mentor to point those out.
You do.
But you got to have somebody go, hey, send me your calendar. If you don't have a mentor that says, send me your calendar, go get a different mentor.
You're
in my
right.
opinion, right? Hey, send me your calendar. Let's start here. Because at the end of the day, that's the foundation, in my opinion.
Well,
What your time in.
it's because it's going to instill honesty
That's it.
within yourself.
That's it.
Okay. You can fool yourself. You
Sure.
really can. We can justify, whatever we want to do. But when you start to be honest with yourself about your time,
Yeah.
then you can make the changes. Now, as that moves further along, the reason time management is important. You guys discussed this last week about the processes.
Yep.
Okay, so I tell everybody this: God gave us all the same 24. It's how we use them. It's going to determine how successful we are. No one has more or less time than the other person. I don't like the excuse I didn't have time. Well, yeah, you did.
Change that I don't have time to it's not a priority.
It's not a priority, and see how that works.
And change that, yeah.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you're going to have a lot of people look at you really weird.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't call me back.
Well, it wasn't a priority.
Mm-hmm. That changes the mentality, right? Changes the whole basis of the way that you think about things.
And there's some validity in how your time is occupied.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's also some times in there that need to be adjusted. There needs to be, we all know that in order to add just about anything, we're going to have to sacrifice something, right? So if you have not documented your time, how do you know what to sacrifice? How do you know, how can you really prioritize all those minutes, all those hours, if you don't have it written down?
Yeah.
Where do you put it? Do you put this new thing you want to do at 6 o'clock this morning and then randomly put it at 1 o'clock tomorrow? And then the next day you do it last thing before you go to bed because
right.
you forgot
Yep.
and you were too busy all day long. That's inconsistency.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we said before, maybe your time block is all the things you can't sacrifice. But the one thing you can sacrifice is that extra hour of sleep you're getting every
That's
day.
it. Get up
So
early.
you get up a little bit earlier and you get it done. That's where your productivity comes in. I mean, when you watch, again,
Everybody's going to stop listening to us when we say get up an hour early. I'm just saying.
Well,
But it's amazing how much you can get done. So I think daylight saving time is phenomenal because you can use that to get back on your schedule if you've been off.
Yeah.
Right. And so this year I committed to, hey, I'm going to start going to bed earlier and I'm going to start getting up earlier. And it's amazing what you can get done from 4:30 in the morning. You don't have to get up at 4:30. People call me crazy for that. I know you probably get up early as well. But you can get so much done between 4:30 and 6 before anybody else wakes up. You can put 4 or 5 hours of stuff in 2 hours before anybody else starts. And that way it clears your mind so that you can go and take care of the things that should be revenue generating, that should be a priority inside of that.
absolutely.
So, anyway.
One of the things that I learned about when you get up earlier, and you're right, because you don't have the distractions.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is asleep.
Yep.
So you're not answering calls, right? You're not getting emails while you're in the middle of responding to an email.
Yep.
And so you don't have that ADD distraction going on.
Yep.
So you can focus. And what really the benefit of that for me is once I get all of those things done every morning, sometimes before 8 o'clock, the rest of the day I'm not pressured.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the day is drowning me,
Yeah.
that I'm overwhelmed, because I'm caught up. As everything comes to me, I take care of it. When you get up a little bit later, or you're trying to cram everything into 6 hours a day or whatever, if you get behind on one thing,
Can't do it.
you're behind on 2 things.
That's it.
And then 3 things. And then you get to the end of the day and you're like, man, today sucked.
Today sucked. Well, you got some things accomplished, but you dropped the ball on a bunch of other things because you're not time blocking.
And guess
properly.
what? Guess what tomorrow brings?
The same thing.
You still got that, what
Yep.
you didn't do today added to what you've got to do tomorrow.
That's it.
So
Prioritize them, if you will. And I've heard this is a good rule of thumb, and I started doing this myself. But you have have tos, should dos, want tos.
yeah,
Right?
it's a great way.
And you don't do anything else during the day until the have tos are done. And then you have should dos, those get done, and then after that it's want tos. And if you don't have enough time during the day to get the want tos done, you don't do them.
Right.
Or if you realize that the want tos are still piling up, hire somebody else to either A, do those, or B, hire somebody else to do the should dos. Right?
Absolutely.
Delegate. That's how, in my opinion, that's how you grow a team, right? You figure out everything that you need done in real estate, right? I don't want to hire a transaction coordinator. I don't want to hire a team. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Your number one priority should be being professional. For one, we'll probably try to sum that up in a minute, but it should be generating business, right? It should be prospecting. You go, I'm busy because I got this contract and I got to send this paperwork and I got to do that and I got to do that. That's not your highest and best use of time, pushing paperwork.
No.
Right? There's people that do a great job of that. Let's hire them and bring them onto the team, but you don't know unless you prioritize.
Well, and I was going to say that I talk to so many realtors on a regular basis that like, I need an assistant. I need an assistant. I said, well, before you hire an assistant,
Yep.
let's look at your time.
Right.
Because if you're not managing your time right, like you said, if your day is not consumed with the have tos,
Yep.
you don't need any help.
You need help.
Okay, when your day gets consumed with the have tos, then you hire the need tos and the want tos.
And the 1-2s. That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's where you hire your help.
Yeah.
And you always take care of the have tos because you are the buck stops here.
That's it.
And you want to make sure that's done well. I
Done
don't really want to delegate the have tos. I want that.
Yeah.
I want that responsibility myself.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So man, talk to me real quick about, and I think you mentioned real estate, but I think this is as an industry in a whole, or as all industries in a whole, small business owners, we sometimes lack the professionalism inside of that, right? And so you had made a mention, we're going to pick on real estate agents, and you can pick on insurance guys if you want to, that's fine as well. But what we model tends to become the trend, right?
Yes.
Same thing with the mentorship, right? What you see, you tend to emulate and or imitate. I may be using the wrong word the whole time. That's whatever, right? Well, you call it a
Send us a message.
Send us a message if we're doing something wrong. We can't see it right now. We'll look at it later.
Be our mentor.
But that's it. Be our mentor. But talk to me about setting the standard, right? What's that standard? And I think you even set the standard in your own organizations of what's expected. So talk about a little bit about that.
All right. So coming out of credit repair, when I got into credit repair, and it always has, Dane will attest to this, one of the biggest challenges of being in credit repair is just the industry reputation.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that you can almost go, attorneys.
I was going to say attorney, car salesman, an insurance guy,
politicians,
and a credit repair guy walk into a bar, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of a good
Which
joke.
one's the worst?
Yeah, right.
All right. So one of the things I wanted to do is change the culture. And I'm looking at real estate now because that's who I work with primarily, but it goes along with any small business owner. What kind of culture do you have?
Yeah.
Okay. And that culture is going to define your professionalism. That's really how you're going to be perceived. And I don't think we have enough mentors out there that we're either following or that are willing to teach us how to be the ultimate professional. You know, one of the things that we do in training with the realtors is this entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mentioned to you before, about the book that I'm writing.
Yeah.
Okay. The Entrepreneurial Realtor.
We got it published, almost published.
Yeah, well,
soon to be published
at some point in time.
Yeah.
Every time I think I'm done, I read it and I'm like, no, I got to change that. So it's
most good authors and mentors do that, right? It's never finished.
No,
the work's never finished.
Well, when I go back and I read it, I'm like, that's not the message I wanted to say.
Okay.
So I want to fix that. But
so you're always improving.
Trying.
There you go.
But at some point I got to finish.
You got to finish it.
So here's the thing on that. So the book is titled The Entrepreneurial Realtor: How to Stand Out in a World of Hobby, Part-Time, and Employee-Minded Realtors.
Oof.
Now, when you think about that, and it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, it's true. Hobby realtors, part-time realtors, and employee. There's nothing wrong with an employee-minded realtor.
Right.
An employee-minded realtor needs to be told when to show up, what to do next, how to do everything. They want to be managed.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Part-time realtors, and I'm going to correlate this to any industry.
I was just getting ready to say, when you start a business, so if you read the E-Myth, I know you probably have.
Yeah.
The technician wants to be the business owner, but doesn't know how to because he's the technician mindset, right? So you're really good at a trade, you're really good at whatever it may be, and you go in and you don't realize everything else that comes along with business ownership. And so the business fails or it doesn't do well because you are employee-minded.
Right.
Anybody can, in my opinion, get out of employee-minded. And again, that's not a bad thing to be employee-minded, but you have to realize everything else that goes into it and then make a shift.
If your life feels balanced as an employee-minded business person, whether it's a realtor or not, then good for you.
Good for you.
The thing that I'm trying to relay, again, is culture and professionalism.
Yeah.
The entrepreneurial-minded person is responsible for setting the culture.
That's it.
And the reputation and professionalism of themselves, because we're self-employed. As a realtor, you're self-employed, whether you understand that or not. If you get paid a commission and you only get paid based on what you produce, you are a business owner. Okay, the buck stops with you. And how you set your culture and how you set your image of professionalism is going to determine your longevity. I believe that 100%.
Mm-hmm. People are going to take you serious or they're not.
And when we go back to and I know this happens in insurance, but when you go back to the hobby realtor, that's somebody that may have another business and they get a license over here so that they can make a little extra money because they see the people that need that particular product.
Yep.
I'm not going to question whether their intent. I will say this: I don't think that it does a service to the culture of the industry.
Right.
Because anything that you're not focused on for the right reasons, if it's selfish,
Yep.
individualistic,
Yep.
that doesn't help the culture of the industry.
It's
itself.
any industry, right?
Any
Insurance
industry.
insurance has been commoditized. Credit repair has been commoditized. It's not viewed as a service. I was on a conference call with my office on the way down here, and when you're viewed as a commodity, when you're actually supposed to be serviced like in real estate, it changes the entire industry.
Mhm.
And guess what? We did it to ourselves.
We did.
We did it to ourselves because we want to be the cheapest, the fastest. We don't want to show, hey, this is the value that I actually provide. In my opinion, that's where Open Door and some of the other companies come into. It's a different model and it works for some people and that's phenomenal. But I'm going to charge you 3% because I'm worth it. And this is why I'm worth it. Guess what? If you're not confident and you're not professional enough to have those conversations, then you can't.
So here's the conversation. Here's the conversations I have. You're absolutely right. And I want to touch on that. So when I'm talking to realtors and they're complaining about, well, Open Door and Redfin, they're charging 1%. And then you got these hobby realtors that are charging a $400 flat fee to list your house because they got other income. They don't need a lot of income. Okay. So it takes that realtor and go, how am I going to sell myself as a 3% realtor?
Yeah.
As full value, full service. And one is to have that image that you are a professional.
Yeah.
And so when I'm talking to these realtors, and this just the people in the Adapt group know this, but when I'm talking to these realtors, I'm like, I can tell real quick if you have a professional image. It's not the car. We talked about that. It's not the car you drive or how well you dress.
Yeah.
Okay. If I'm talking to a realtor and I say, what's your email address? And you go, it's susierealtor@gmail.com. Really?
Where's your domain name at?
Where's your domain name? Have you taken the time? So you're telling me that I'm meticulous. I pay attention to details. I'm going to protect you in the biggest investment you've ever made in your life.
Yeah. But think about that.
But then
quick. That's the big most of the time. That's the biggest investment that you're going to make.
For a lot of people, it's
For
the
a lot of
first
people,
investment they've ever made.
And only.
Yeah. No stocks, no bonds, no. Like I said before, enough savings to get the house.
Yep.
So they're going to trust me. I'm asking you, this is why I'm 3%.
Yep.
Because I'm so professional. I'm going to take care of you. But I'm so unprofessional. I haven't done the things I need to do with my own business
On the front side.
to not only show a professional image,
Yep.
but to have the professional protections that go along with establishing a professional business.
Sure.
And so if I'm battling Redfin or I'm battling any of these discount people, one of the things I want to have in my arsenal is I want to be able to go in and show, hey, I'm a professional realtor.
Right.
I'm not your part-time realtor. I'm not this person that, won't take the time to do my due diligence and do the things that I need to do.
Sure.
So go look at everybody else. I used to do the same thing.
We're not picking on real estate, in my opinion.
No,
right?
this goes for
It's
any
just
business.
For any business. If you think about, financial planning, right? So I met with some financial planners yesterday. I hope to have them on the show. And it's the same type of thing, right? Everybody calls himself a financial planner. They take it a step further when they talk to financial planners and go, okay, perfect. Let me run you through what I do. And we do this, and this. Do you do that? No. You're a money manager, a financial planner. Right? You manage the money that's already there with the opportunities that you have and the tools that you have, but you don't manage the financial plan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a difference in professionalism, right? You wouldn't go into a doctor's office if it was an executive suite and there was no receptionist and there was no website and there was no anything else, right? Don't cut on me, right?
Right.
Why are we assuming that our clients or assuming that our potential clients, prospects would trust me with my home if you don't have a professional appearance? Same thing with insurance, same thing with credit repair, whatever it may be.
And one reason is because it hasn't been challenged in the past.
Yeah.
Okay, it's been allowed, and it's fine. There's a lot of really good realtors out there that for a long time have run with a Gmail address, with just your cell phone, with no, But the thing is that's about to be challenged.
I think so.
It is being challenged.
Yeah.
The Redfin, the Open Door, those discount brokers are about to challenge these realtors.
Yeah.
With the purpose of devaluing them.
Yeah.
So that they can't charge 3% anymore.
Yep.
So that means you're going to have to sell 3 times as many homes if you drop your price to 1%.
Right.
So where is your value add?
That's it. I think that's industry wide, right? What do you provide that's a value to the other person? And that's it. It's why should you pick me over anybody else? I joke around all the time is you'll come to our agency and I'll show you why, right? I can't tell you enough. I can't blah, blah, blah. But I know that we're the best fit for you because of the service that we provide, right? And so it's what sets yourself apart, and have a mentor to help you figure that out.
But you can't just say that if there's no physical connection to you doing the same things yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you the ultimate professional? We all want to associate ourselves with the top of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you know someone famous, it kind of makes you feel famous. You may not have ever been in front of a camera at all, but I know this guy. You start name dropping, right? How many people we know name drop?
Absolutely.
All right. It's the same thing in the professional world. People want to do business with the most professional person they can. And if you're not presenting that image, that's part of your branding.
Sure.
You have a weakness.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't find some success.
Sure.
And that may be okay. Again, I'll go back to the balance. Are you happy with it?
Yep. If you're happy with it, then
good deal.
Keep it.
Roll with it. But if you really want, if you're looking at these mentors, if you're looking at these people, man, I love that realtor, or I love that insurance guy. I want, when I grow up, I want to be like them.
Sure.
Then be like them.
Yep. Do the things that they're doing.
Look at what they're doing. It's not rocket science, folks.
Right. Yeah. Emulate success and you'll become that, in my opinion.
But it's also the little details, and that's what a lot of us want to forget.
Yeah.
Okay. The professional athlete, when you listen to Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, all of them, I firmly believe, being a football coach for as long as I was too, that the reason they were great is because they fell in love with the process of becoming great.
Yeah.
All the things we never got to see them do. All those hours of practice and after practice, and when no one else was watching, they were working on their craft to get better.
Yep. And I think if business owners that are successful will tell you these things, I think.
Absolutely.
You have to put the time in to make it happen. Nobody sees it until you're at the top, because that's when you're at the pinnacle and everybody's looking at you. What happened from here to there?
Yeah.
Right. And I when I talk to other insurance agents, I tell them that. I go, man, there was 5 years of eating red beans and rice. There's plenty of times I had to call and cancel my appointments, not because I overbooked, because I didn't have gas to put in the car to drive over and meet you.
Yeah.
I had enough gas to get me to the gas station, and I had to wait for the next paycheck to come in to get that done.
I've been there.
Everybody goes, oh, I don't really want to hear that. That's part of it.
Anybody out there that's ever been an entrepreneur, self-employed, if they haven't experienced that, they're probably not telling you the truth.
Or they've been given to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the kind of people that you want. And I think a big part of that, right? If you find those people that have been there and done that, when the hard times hit, when the market turns, when you're frustrated, you can reach out to that person and they go, yeah, I've been there. That's to be expected,
right?
And can help you get out of that. So
that's perfect. I think that when you're looking for that mentor, when you're looking for that leader, number one, time management, but number two, have them sit down with you and ask them about their struggles. When you first got started, how hard was it? They're going to find out stories just like you said.
That's it.
Because what's that saying? It took me 10 years to become an overnight success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's it.
We don't see that part.
Yeah.
We see everybody's highlight reel.
Yeah.
Okay. We don't see I've got a really good friend that's a very successful insurance agent.
Yeah. I'm not talking about me.
Another one. I got two good friends.
Oh, whatever. Get out of here, man.
So no, his story, it blew me away because I'd known him for 10 years.
Yeah.
Always as the successful insurance agent. And I was sitting down with him because he was asking me about credit. This is back when I was doing credit. And he goes, anybody that's ever been self-employed has struggled.
Yeah.
And he goes, you don't know how many times. Now, this is coming from this guy that lives, dude.
You as well. Yeah.
Yeah. You have no idea how many times that I cried and begged at the front door of my house to keep them from foreclosing on it, to give me one more week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like blown away. I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. But the tenacity of that paid off in the business, right? I think that's a foundation across the board. Things move to the next thing no matter what.
Yeah.
Right? It again goes back to the show me issues inside. Same thing with that tenacity, right? Same thing with I cried and begged to move to the next. Give me one more week because I'm not going to quit.
Yeah.
Right? You only fail if you quit.
Here's the thing. when you talk about the hobby, part-time, employee-minded, and entrepreneurial mindset in any business, the entrepreneur has to find a way to fix it.
Yep.
The employee-minded person looks for somebody else to fix it.
Yep.
The part-timer and the hobby just quit and go do something else.
Quit and go something else because the hobby.
The entrepreneurial has their life sewed up in it.
Yeah.
They're committed.
Yeah.
They're all in. And so no matter how bad it gets, no matter how desperate and dire everything look, they have to figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's what's so great about them. That's what's so impressive. And that's why we love them.
Yep.
That's why we love those people at the
Yep.
top of the heap, because
You're committed.
because we know that they figured it out.
Yeah. Well, I think it's this is just a goofy saying, right? Kind of try to bring it back down and land it at some point. But the difference between, bacon and eggs, the chicken contributed, the pig was committed, right? He was pot committed. He's in.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, he's in.
Yeah, he's all in right
and
there.
I tell my office and I tell other agents that are trying to start their own agency or other business owners is, man, you got to burn the ships. There's no looking back,
No.
right? You hit the shore, you burn the ships, and we're moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference between an entrepreneur, a business owner, versus hey, I'm going to do this until it gets hard, then I'm going to quit,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm going to go do something else, or I'm going to look for somebody else to fix it. Is we're going to push through this no matter what, right? So good, man, good. Well, what else, buddy? What else we need to cover here? We covered a lot. So hopefully we'll jump back in and roll this. Is your group, is that public?
No, it's a private group.
Okay.
It's for realtors. It's called ADAPT, the Alliance Development and Productivity Training. You go in, ask to join. If you're a realtor, we'll get you in there. As far as small business, I do a lot of consulting with them.
Okay.
Just really helping them, evaluate, see where they are,
Okay.
what they can change.
How do we find you?
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yep.
Okay.
All over
Okay.
Facebook, all over Instagram.
Okay.
Instagram is ADAPT DFW, and Facebook is ADAPT for the number 4 realtors.com, or not .com, just ADAPT 4 realtors.
Adapt for Realtors.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
So that's where I
Guys,
am.
if you haven't had a conversation with him, reach out to him. He obviously has crazy amounts of knowledge. Been there, done that. Find a mentor. Be a mentee. Man, 2019, find somebody that you want to model, to be like, and chase that person, and then bring somebody along with you, right? Don't just go there yourself. Bring somebody along so that you can grow the industry, you can grow whatever else you're in. So, man, I appreciate it, buddy.
All right, man.
Awesome.
Good to
Awesome.
be here.
We got to figure out how to shut this off without me getting up. So have a phenomenal, by the way, Thanksgiving next week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, we're going to have kind of a cool little deal next week, podcasting in from somewhere else. So that'll be neat. So anyway, guys, have a great Thanksgiving.